For 5 years, he was the undisputed king of television. As John Dutton on Yellowstone, Kevin Costner didn't just play a character. He embodied the last stand of the American male. He was the patriarch who owned the biggest ranch in Montana. He was the man who protected his land, his family, and his legacy with a ruthlessness that captivated the world. He was the highest-paid actor on cable TV, commanding an empire worth millions. He looked untouchable. But in late 2024, the script flipped in the most brutal way imaginable. The man who played the powerful, unshakable patriarch on screen was suddenly losing everything in real life. The headlines weren't about his awards. They were about his humiliation. At 69 years old, an age when most legends are planning their retirement or accepting Lifetime Achievement Awards, Kevin Costner found himself fighting a war on two fronts that would break a lesser man. On one side, a bitter, scorched-earth divorce battle that saw his wife of 18 years refuse to leave his home, holding his own property hostage while demanding a fortune that insiders called a highway robbery. On the other side, a toxic, ego-driven power struggle with the creators of Yellowstone that ended with the biggest star on the planet being unceremoniously kicked off the show he built from the ground up. Picture this. The biggest movie star of his generation, literally feeling homeless in his own mind, terrified of running out of cash, sleeping in a house that felt like a war zone because the woman he loved had turned into his fiercest litigator. How did it come to this? How did the man who danced with wolves end up sleeping with sharks? Today, we uncover the brutal, unfiltered truth behind Kevin Costner's fall. We expose a forensic accounting of a divorce that revealed the shocking greed of the Hollywood lifestyle. We dive deep into the God complex of the Yellowstone showrunners who betrayed their leading man. And we look at the terrifying financial gamble he is making right now, risking his entire remaining fortune on a movie that Hollywood is praying will fail. He lost his wife. He lost the show. He nearly lost his reputation. But Kevin Costner has one card left to play, and he is going all in. To understand the sheer magnitude of this collapse, we have to look at what Kevin thought he had. For 18 years, Christine Baumgartner was more than just his wife. She was his anchor. Kevin had been burned before. His first divorce in the 90s cost him $80 million, one of the most expensive payouts in Hollywood history. It left scars. He was hesitant to marry again. He was hesitant to have more children. But Christine, a beautiful model and handbag designer, changed all that. She gave him 3 beautiful children, Caden, Hayes, and Grace. She gave him a life outside of Hollywood, centered in their sprawling, oceanfront estate in Santa Barbara. It looked like the perfect second act. But on April 11, 2023, while Kevin was away filming in Las Vegas, the fairy tale didn't just end. It exploded. Kevin received a call. Christine was filing for divorce. Sources close to the actor said he was completely blindsided. There was no big fight, no scandal that he knew of, just a sudden, cold legal filing citing irreconcilable differences. But the real shock wasn't the divorce itself. It was what happened next. Usually, when marriage dissolves in Hollywood, the lawyers talk, a settlement is reached, and one party moves out to a rental. But Christine didn't move. Despite a crystal-clear prenuptial agreement that stated she had 30 days to vacate his premarital home in the event of a divorce, she stayed. Day 30 came and went. Christine was still there. Kevin Costner, the owner of the $145 million compound, found himself in a nightmare scenario. He was technically the landlord of an ex-wife who refused to leave. Legal documents filed by Kevin's team painted a picture of a man pushed to the brink. He claimed he was effectively locked out of his own sanctuary. He couldn't return home without facing the woman who was suing him. He told the court he felt homeless and displaced. Imagine the humiliation. You are John Dutton. You fight grizzly bears and land developers on TV. But in real life, you can't get your ex-wife to move out of the master bedroom. Christine's legal team argued that she had nowhere to go, a claim that baffled the public, considering Kevin had already paid her over $1 million specifically for relocation, as per their prenup. But it soon became clear that this wasn't about a place to sleep. This was about leverage. She was holding the house hostage, and the ransom note was about to be read in open court. If the squatting was humiliating, the financial demands were staggering. Christine Baumgartner didn't just ask for child support. She asked for a kingdom. Her initial demand was for $248,000 per month. Let that sink in. $250,000 every single month. That is $3 million a year, tax-free. Her lawyers argued that this amount was necessary to maintain the lifestyle the 3 children were accustomed to. And when they broke down expenses in court documents, the world got a rare, disgusting glimpse into how the Hollywood elite spend money. The list included nearly $200,000 a month for plastic surgery treatments, thousands for private trainers, massive budgets for unassigned credit card expenses. Kevin's legal team, led by the ferocious divorce attorney Laura Wasser, fought back with venom. They called the demands inflated, grotesque, and unnecessary. They argued the obvious. Child support is for children. It is not meant to fund the plastic surgery or personal shopping habits of the mother. They labeled it spousal support in disguise. Kevin, usually private and stoic, was forced to open his books to the world. He had to testify about his cash flow, his debts, and his fears. On the stand, looking tired and worn down, he admitted, "I have a lot of responsibilities. I have to take care of obligations that are already in place. I need to know where the money is coming from." He revealed that his cash flow wasn't infinite. He had tied up massive amounts of liquidity in his movie projects. He wasn't just sitting on piles of cash. He was a working actor who was being bled dry. It takes a special kind of strength to stand your ground when your own legacy is being held hostage by greed. If you stand with fathers fighting for their rights and truth, hit that subscribe button. We tell the stories Hollywood tries to hide. The trial became a spectacle. Christine's lawyers tried to paint Kevin as a cheapskate who was hoarding money while his children suffered. They argued that living in a $145 million house was the children's birthright. At one point, the debate turned to the definition of luxury. Christine complained that the rental house Kevin offered her didn't have ocean access, claiming the children would suffer if they didn't live on the beach. For the average American watching this unfold, it was tone deaf. It was insulting. But Kevin held his line. He testified that he wanted to pass his wealth to his children, not to his ex-wife's lifestyle. "I don't hide money from my wife," he said. "I just don't want to run out of it." In the end, the judge sided with Kevin. The court awarded Christine $63,000 a month, a huge sum, but a fraction of the $248,000 she demanded. It was a decisive legal victory for Kevin. Christine moved out. The settlement was signed, but the victory fell hollow. The privacy he cherished was gone. His financial life had been dissected by strangers, and the woman he trusted with his life had tried to take him for everything he was worth. He had saved his fortune, but he had lost his home in a spiritual sense. The sanctuary was tainted, and while he was fighting for his financial life in court, another betrayal was brewing on the set of Yellowstone. While his home life was collapsing, his professional empire was being dismantled from the inside. Yellowstone wasn't just a hit show, it was a cultural force. And Kevin Costner was a gravity that held it together. Before Kevin, Yellowstone was just a script on a shelf. Kevin brought the star power. He brought the credibility. He made John Dutton an icon of American television. But there was another massive ego on the ranch. Taylor Sheridan, the show's creator. Sheridan is a brilliant writer, but in Hollywood, he is known for having a God complex. He writes every single word of every script. He directs. He produces. He controls everything. And for a star like Kevin Costner, who is an Oscar-winning director himself, being treated like a puppet was never going to work. For years, the tension simmered. Kevin wanted to know the arc of his character. He wanted to know how John Dutton would end. Taylor Sheridan reportedly refused to tell him, adopting a shut-up-and-act attitude. But the real conflict was about time. Kevin Costner is not a man who waits around. He had a passion project, a 4-part movie series called Horizon, that he had been trying to make for 35 years. He needed a schedule. He needed to know when Yellowstone would film, so he could go shoot his movie. In 2023, as Kevin's marriage was falling apart, the Yellowstone production fell into chaos. Scripts were late. Schedules were constantly changing. Taylor Sheridan was busy working on 5 other spin-off shows, 1883, 1923, Tulsa King, instead of finishing the main show that started it all. Kevin was left waiting, and waiting cost money. So Kevin drew a line. He reportedly told the studio he would only give them a specific window of time to film. If they missed it, he was gone. Instead of working with their star, the studio turned on him. Suddenly, anonymous sources began leaking damaging stories to the press. Headlines screamed that Kevin Costner was being difficult, lazy, and greedy. They claimed he only wanted to work for 1 week. Kevin's team was furious. They called these leaks lies designed to make Kevin the villain and protect Taylor Sheridan's delays. In his divorce court hearing, the truth finally came out. Kevin revealed under oath that he wanted to return for season 6. He negotiated. He tried. I couldn't help them anymore. He told the court, "We tried to negotiate. They offered me less money than previous seasons. There were issues with the creative." He even revealed that he had a moral death clause in his contract, a rare legal protection that prevented the showrunners from killing off John Dutton in a shameful or humiliating way. He knew they might turn on him, and he tried to protect his legacy, but the betrayal was complete. The studio announced that Yellowstone would end. They announced a spin-off with Matthew McConaughey, effectively replacing Kevin. After 5 seasons of carrying the show on his back, Kevin Costner was pushed out. He was dealing with a divorced lawyer in one ear and a studio executive firing him in the other. It was a perfect storm of professional and personal destruction. At 69 years old, most men in Kevin's position would have folded. He had the money. He could have retired to his Aspen ranch, played golf, and lived out his days in comfort. But Kevin Costner is not most men. He is a gambler, not with cards, but with dreams. 30 years ago, everyone in Hollywood told him a 3-hour movie about Native Americans called Dances with Wolves would be a disaster. They mocked him. They called it Kevin's Gate. He ignored them. He put his own money into it, and it won 7 Oscars and Best Picture. Now, facing the wreckage of 2025, Kevin decided to double down. He is betting everything on Horizon, an American Saga. This isn't just a movie. It's a massive 4-part theatrical experience about the settlement of the American West. Every major studio passed on it. They said Westerns don't sell. They said audiences just want Marvel movies. They said it was financial suicide. So, what did Kevin do? While his wife was suing him for every penny, Kevin mortgaged 10 acres of his own prime waterfront property in Santa Barbara. He took $38 million of his own liquid cash, the very money he was fighting to protect in court, and he poured it into the film. He literally bet the farm. He said in an interview, "I'm not a fool, but I'm not afraid." This is a definition of all in. If Horizon fails, he doesn't just lose face. He loses a fortune. He ends a career on a flop, divorced and alone. If it succeeds, he proves everyone wrong. Again. But watching him promote this film, you see the toll it has taken. At the Cannes Film Festival in May 2024, the audience gave him a 10-minute standing ovation after the screening. Kevin Costner stood up, looked at the crowd, and wept. Tears streamed down his face. His voice cracked as he grabbed the microphone. Those weren't just tears of joy. Those were tears of exhaustion. They were the release of a man who has held the weight of the world on his shoulders for 2 years straight, without breaking. He stood there, surrounded by his children, the ones he fought so hard to protect in court. But looking at the photos, the absence is haunting. He had no wife beside him to share the glory. He had no Yellowstone cast behind him to support the launch. He stood alone, the last cowboy in Hollywood. Hollywood loves a comeback, but they love a tragedy even more. They want to see him fail, but we don't. If you are rooting for Kevin Costner to win this final battle, make sure you are subscribed. Welcome to the family. Today, Kevin Costner is back in his Santa Barbara home. The legal battles are over. The ex-wife is gone. The noise of the trial has settled. But the silence that remains is heavy. He has his house back, but it's emptier now. The master bedroom is his again, but he sleeps alone. He has his freedom, but it came at a terrible cost. He won the war, but he lost a piece. Kevin Costner's story is a brutal reminder that even for the biggest stars, life is fragile. Money can buy the best lawyers in the world, but it can't buy loyalty. Fame can buy applause, it can, but it can't buy a happy marriage. And sometimes, being the king means sitting on the throne entirely alone. At 69, he is starting over. A new movie franchise that he owns. A new life as a single father. A new chapter written on his own terms. Will he ride off into the sunset victorious? Or is this the final fade to black on a legendary career? Only time will tell. But one thing is certain. Kevin Costner never runs from a fight. And he never bets against himself. What do you think? Did his wife betray him for money? Or is this just the cost of fame? And will you be watching his new movie to support him? Let us know in the comments below. God bless you, and thank you for watching.